Hello, this is Victor at RestoreMercedes.com. This video is for Ruud in Switzerland, and we're going to go over parts that that were mailed in to be repaired. The first thing I'm going to cover is the wiring harnesses, and there are two of them here on the table. This is sort of my makeshift table here, so don't mind the mess. I mean, I don't work on it. It's just that it has space that I can actually film. Now the harness, this is a 95 SL600, and the part number for this particular harness would be here, so which is 129540710 I preserved this just to have. It's a cool thing to have. So the one harness here is the SL harness. So the SL has this this piece right here. This piece seemed to be polyurethane, believe it or not. It's a mold, and it's very brittle mold. But in order for me to get the wires, either you break the mold completely and get the wires out, but then if you do not preserve any kind of piece of the mold, then the cover that goes over is not going to line up right here in this area, because this piece, the mold itself, is bolted. There's a mounting point there on the engine, so the mold is going to sit like somewhat like this. There's going to be a little bit of a space in between, and then the cover is going to be bolted through these openings here. So for that reason, I do my very best, but even doing very best, you see the mold cracked over here because it's extremely brittle. But I did still preserve the upper portion, so unfortunately some zip ties, but still, instead of just having the loom going around and then it's just like the cover, and it's just not gonna look right, you know. So in this particular situation, I cut the mold, and you see this is where wires would have went, and that's where they went originally. You see you got these little cutouts here, so I did my best in terms of preserving this location. So when you put the cover on, you have this accordion piece, a rubber piece, where wires would connect to the firewall, and the molded piece together. I glued it because it cracked right in the middle. It's a difficult kind of situation just to preserve this upper portion, because if you cut well, long story short, it is what it is. This is actually pretty good. I'm pretty happy the way it came out, because many others would crack here, would crack there. It cracked many areas, and this one just cracked right here. This was the weakest point, I guess. Well, anyway, so this is the harness. We got the main connector. All the wires were double checked, pin by pin, just in case. There is silicone inside. There is silicone over here. This is all wrapped up. And the accordion piece, this was the way it was. There's a little bit of a damage here. I don't want to really cover it. I just want to leave it as is, because I don't want to put silicone on it because it's going to look kind of weird. But that's that. All the injectors were marked. There are numbers there. You can faintly see them, but this is number 10. And it's a lot of manual labor here just to make it nice. So where's the number on this one? This is 12. Where's the number on this one? I'm curious right now, actually. Maybe this one I replaced, because there was one that I had to replace, I believe. Oh no, yeah, 11. 1 right there. 11. And this one has numbers here. Well, anyway, I did double check it according to diagrams. Each and every pin goes exactly where it has to go. The lengths are exactly the same as they were from factory. The wires are one color. I do not bother with different colors. That's just because it doesn't make any sense. Once the wiring harness is finished, there is never ever going to be a need to go through it or replace it or do anything with it. You can pull these little sleeves in a little bit if you would like, just to cover up those wires, because they are moving. They're movable. You can move them up and down a little bit. So that's the way they are designed. So anyway, that's that. So this is how it looks close to original. Original looks just like that. You actually do see portions of wires showing in between the tape spots. This is friction tape. Each and every pin was soldered directly, so that's that. Zip ties, original location, original looms. There is another zip tie over here that you actually have to put on, because if you don't, these wires are going to be so close, and if the cover gets like lost or just gets dislodged, the cover right in front of the fan, there's literally no room, so these wires can be caught into a fan. So that is important, to put the zip tie to keep wires away from the fan, just in case the cover gets lost. These connectors cut open and resealed, plastic welded, and original loom here, like that's a covering, and these were rewrapped. In the same story here is a portion of original covering, and on temperature sensor here. Now you also will notice that these connectors look extremely same, and at factory wiring these would be same, they will be angled, but I did leave them unangled because there is many problems where people get these harnesses. You can swap them if they're exactly same, you don't know which one. These are camshafts, okay, and this is going to be a temperature sensor, so that's why it's different. I put a different one just for that reason. So you got camshaft on left bank, right bank, and temperature sensor on the right bank. This is your cluster temperature gauge sensor connector. Yeah, so I guess that's that. Silicone is drying up right now. It's still a little soft, so I'm going to wait a little. Well, obviously it's not going to be mailed out tonight, it's very late. This is another part number that, this is another the same part number but in different location. There were a couple of these seals missing, so I reinstalled them. I had some spares, I put them in. There is another seal missing here. There's supposed to be a large seal. Unfortunately, I do not have that. It's like the same color usually, this orange kind of color that goes around. It's not super critical, but it should have been there. Now, again, with the mold piece right here, that's the best I can do in terms of preserving this as to look as original as it could be looking. So, and it does look really original except for these zip ties. Now, at the same time, you can just leave one zip tie and then put the cover on, attach it, and cut these off. And once the cover is on, there's going to be only just one here. You can even cut this one if you want, but it's just an extra security to keep wires together. So that is that. So this harness is pretty much finished. Like I said, I double checked each and every pin. This harness was sent kind of by mistake. I mean, it should have been mailed over because these harnesses do not go bad. They come out from the computer box, and actually there's only one broken here. Okay, now you see the pins over here. There's one pin here, not a pin, it's sort of like a, I don't know how to explain this, but it's like a, yeah, well, I guess, well, let's call it pins. You see these little things, one here, one here, one here, and here, nothing. So what's gonna happen is that these supposed to hold these plugs inside the computer box. Now, if this pin is broken, when you pull the computer out, the plug is gonna come up with it. It's not, again, a critical piece. I mean, it's a critical problem. It would have been a big problem if the whole thing would have been broken. Then you won't be able to push computer down because the plug is going to be pushed down. So this is what stops the plug from sinking into the computer box. And these things stop plug from being pulled out from the computer box when the computer is in. So once you put on the computer, if you ever would want to remove it, one of the control modules, you would just have to basically remove the module next to it and hold the connector with a screwdriver, and then you pull the computer out. I've seen this before. One of my cars have this problem, so it's not really a critical problem here. Now, the wires on these don't go bad. Like I said, everything seems fine. The only thing that I did is I had to rewrap a couple of areas. That was the areas that were open. Like this area, it was open, so the wires looked all, like exposed. So I rewrapped that, I rewrapped this, I wrapped something else, this area right here, I wrapped it over. So that is this harness. Unfortunately, you kind of like did it, but you removed it, but you didn't have to. But it is what it is. So, but at least we didn't have to rewire this harness. So these are two, and now we're going to move on to throttle bodies. I'm gonna pause this video for a second, and I'm gonna go over where throttle bodies are. Okay, so here we are at throttle bodies and Egas module. Now, throttle body situation. The passenger side unit, this unit right here, this was a replacement unit. It literally has no miles on it. It's just basically brand new. If it was replaced at some point, it's gotta be recent. Now you hear this noise, don't worry about the noise. That is the common thing on new units because motor hasn't even broken in yet, and that's why this like makes the noise. And also, if the throttle is on the vehicle and the air passes through, it's like there is resistance on the plate, so there will be no noise, and you will never even hear it anyway. So it doesn't matter. See, if I touch it a little bit, it just goes away. So anyhow, that's fine. There's nothing to worry about. You can also see the wear and corrosion on the crankshaft ventilation system here. And if you look, you see this throttle and this throttle. There's a big difference. That's why I didn't clean it off. I want to show that. That basically proves that this unit was replaced. The wires are brand new. Everything inside is like the grease is still there. So this unit was replaced at some point. However, this unit, this needed work. The wires were totally shot and the motor had to be done. So this unit I overhauled completely. So new wire and loom, new wires, and the motor was taken apart, put back together. So that's that. Now Egas module, this is the latest style. Although I did find older style capacitors inside, so I did replace capacitors in this unit. And I just put in the date right there, so it's known when they were replaced, just in case. Other than that, units seem to operate just fine. It's been on the bench. I might actually, if I have a little more time, maybe a couple of more days, I'm going to put it in one of the convertibles that I have, and the same 600 SL600 cars, and drive on this unit. I might do it on Sunday. Okay, on Sunday morning I might do it. Because this package is not going to go away yet, so I'm going to put it in the car. I'm going to drive about 30-40 miles because I will have to drive for that distance, so I'll have it in the car just to test it out, see how it works, if any kind of issues with it, some sort of hidden problems when the module actually warms up. When it's in the computer box, it's very hot in there, so all the modules, there's a lot of heat going on, so this particular one might you know, probably not. There was a big problem here. The module didn't burn. That's what's most important. I just want to test it for the goodwill. Again, capacitors replaced just because they're old, and this module was made when 1994. See these first two numbers, 94 M07. That means 1994. So we got 20-plus-year-old capacitors, 23-year-old capacitors, 24-year-old. So obviously, it's good to replace because electrolyte, it leaks out and it just gets old. So I put new ones. Throttle bodies activation. As we can see, they activate just fine. And again, do not mind this noise. It's the motor vibration. That's like the way it is. But as you can see, it hasn't even been broken in yet properly. So let's look at the readouts. So we got readouts 435, 433, 0.02 volts, not critical at all, and that's where we are. Totally fine with me. And open the throttle. 199, 199. The top readouts. That's what we want to look at. The readings will be different from module to module, from throttles to throttles, but general idea, it does not have to be like 0.0 something volt exact. I mean, they all differ. So that's just the nature of these units. This is pretty much analog stuff right here. So this is potentiometers and sliders and all that. So all we want to do is we have to have this reading and that reading very, very close to each other. 200ths of the volt is not a big deal at all. So, and again, like I said, this unit is new, this unit is old. So there might be a little bit of a discrepancies between. But I find completely no problems here. See, the plate is being held properly. I try to press the plate. It is held just fine. Same on this side. So we are pretty much fine. You'll bring it where it has to be, so it's going to be just fine. Okay, so I guess I'll wrap this up. This is a long video, and because there are quite a few things. Again, this unit, I could have went into the motor, but I looked it up, and I was like, you know, this is just way too new to even go through it. It's way too new. This is like just perfectly fine inside. And I just didn't want to just spend all this time. There is no need to rewire it, no need to go through the motor yet. Maybe in some point in future, but that's gonna be like years. So 10 years or 15 years. So, but this one, yeah, this one had to do. This one had to do. I mean, I had to do this unit. And pardon my speech. It's like almost midnight and it's late. So late day. So yeah. So here we have it. We have all these situations here covered. Egas, throttles, and wiring harnesses. And like I said, I'll drive on this module, see how it reacts, see how it feels. If I don't make any other videos about this, then the module is fine. And I'm pretty much 100% sure, 99% sure that the module is going to be just fine. The readout I see there is fine too, so I'm okay with that. Alright, so I'll cut this video quits, and this is Victor at RestoreYourMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.